Good afternoon, Dan.
Hey, Paulie, how are
How
you,
are
mate?
we? Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really good. How are you?
Yeah, good. It was nice to do a session together just before.
Yeah, it was a challenging one. I don't know when this is going to be sent out to the tribe, the community, but we just did a Facebook Live session for our Inner Hero tribe. So if you guys, are able to jump on, if you're part of the Art of Healthy Dads, you probably won't have access to this. But this is something that we do for our inner tribe on a regular basis to be able to just build towards a common goal as a community, because we know how powerful being able to have that brotherhood to be able to drive towards that cause is.
Yeah, my legs are cooked, and I can see that both of us are kind of glistening from the perspiration. So it was definitely a great session.
Yes, and as I mentioned a couple of times during the workout, the combination of sweating with a mustache just hashes up interesting imagery. It's it makes me very uncomfortable.
It is a glorious mo that you do possess.
Well, it's only a baby mo at this current stage, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it by the end of October or November, Movember, as one would say.
Love
But
it.
but anyway, we wanted to talk a little bit about nutrition today. We wanted to talk about uh, what weight loss actually means in its simplest form. And it really, like, to be able to communicate it in its simplest form, it really is being able to remain and live your life in a calorie deficit. Now, a lot of people don't like to hear that, or they get repelled by the notion of counting calories, this, that, and the other. But this is just science. It's the science of thermogenics, to be able to uh, burn more calories throughout a day than you consume, and that is ultimately what weight loss is. Now, you can get so much further into what the reality of quality weight loss is. Understanding exactly what happens when you go through weight loss, depending on what type of quality foods it is that you eat. But ultimately, if you can figure out how much you burn on a daily basis and then lower the amount of input food, otherwise fuel, that you put into your system, you will, by theory, lose weight. Now, there are so many caveats to that I don't even want to enter that realm, but we'll touch on just a couple. One being the quality of food that you put into your system, and this is such a big aspect in order to understand how you get satiated, how your brain functions, how your energy is exuded and manifests throughout the day. This all comes down to the macronutrients and the micronutrient value of the food that you put into your system.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that comes up regularly is you can't out train a bad diet. So the combination of good training with a good diet and eating healthy, is the right way to go about it. And in terms of eating well and choosing whole foods and quality foods, this is just a great starting point. Wherever you find yourself, if you to reduce weight, a great starting point is just to look at what's in your pantry, what's in your fridge, what's happening day to day, and just be really accountable within yourself or your family. Are these the right choices? Are these the healthy choices? And if there is any uncertainty there, then it's about reaching out to someone who has experience, or someone that almost like aesthetically has the body type that you're looking for, and ask them, soak up someone else's wisdom who's living an active, healthy life, and see how they go about it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a valuable notion to bring to the table. Another thing that is really valuable is to not get down on yourself and not be hard on yourself if you're not compliant 100% of the time, because the reality is, and the 100% nature of what it is to be human, is we're not going to be 100% compliant, because it's just not what is going to happen. So a 90-10 philosophy or aim is a really good benchmark for me to be able to work within my realms. It just gives me a little bit of leeway, and it gives me room for forgiveness when I, relax my protocols, and I give myself a little bit of a treat. And it's that language that we've discussed before, giving yourself a treat meal, not a cheat meal. That way it's a reward, not a punishment.
Yeah, I actually went out for dinner last night, the first time I've been out for quite some times, because the restrictions have eased now in Melbourne. So I went out with a group of friends who I haven't seen for quite some time. And
Where'd you go?
we went to Squire's Loft.
Ooh.
We do with some mates one time. And so this is a great steakhouse in Melbourne, and it was just funny because everyone knows the work that I do, and how I live my life, and what I prioritize in terms of health and fitness and just an active lifestyle. And it's funny how I'll order a 200-gram eye fillet steak, which I don't really eat too much meat, but when I do go out with these boys, I have a steak. It's my treat. And then the question is, are you going to have a baked potato? Are you going to have chips? Are you going to have veg? Or are you going to have salad? And it's like, I could feel that, like, what is he going to choose? And it's like, I'm going to chips. Like, that's what I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. And I'm going to have the bread, and I'm going to have a beer, and I'm going to have a glass of wine. And it's just like perfect. 90-10 principle is so, it's so easeful. It's so relaxed. And like you said, don't have to give ourselves a hard time. Never trying to uphold anything. We're just trying to be natural. And so last night was just a perfect example of just like enjoying it for what it was, and just showing up the next day and seeing what happens from there. It's like 1:30. I actually haven't even eaten yet because it's been a busy start to the day, but I drink tons of water.
And you've also got an animal digesting through your system, which you're not that used to. So it's probably still happening.
It's true. It's really true. But I just love the openness to just go with the flow a day at a time. We had a client last night say, I'm going to my mother-in-law's for dinner and she makes my favorite dessert. What do I do? And it was like, great that, we could collaborate on that decision and just see what's needed. And in the end, he just felt like, the most beneficial act was to have the dessert, but only have a smaller portion, a smaller amount. And that was like a great balance, a great solution, rather than needing to eat it all, just choose the portion size. So it's about like how willing we are to just check in with ourselves and see like, what do we actually want? And then make decisions based on that.
I love it. And, the last thing I want to say about this is for an action item, I want you guys to think about, it's one thing to intuitively kind of go meal to meal, but what I find to be quite liberating is to, for example, if I was in Dan's position last night and I went out for steak and chips, for me, that would be like a little bit of in the most empowering way, that would be like my treat meal for the period of time. And that's liberated me to be able to say, I've enjoyed that, I've satiated that. And now for the next few days, I'm going to try my damnedest to live within the parameters that I've set out for healthy living. And then I anticipate whenever it comes up, according to what I want to have in my dietary or nutritional blueprint, I can now set for, say, a week or 10 days into the future, I can go out for another treat meal. But like being able to plan ahead is great for me. And a lot of people around me think that might be a little bit, kind of rigid, but me, it gives me liberty. It gives me liberation to be able to say, I can wholly and fully just be present in this meal, of this treat meal, and just have the time of my life.
Yeah, so, I love that. Yeah, go for it.
I want to just mention the action item for today. I want you guys to just have a think about your social calendar, especially if you're in Melbourne. Your social calendar's just opened up. There's no doubt. no doubt there's been a lot of harnessed, social activity that hasn't been able to be expressed over the last 8 months. So you're able to go out for dinners. So you may have a couple of dinners booked, or even 3 or 4 dinners booked over the next week, a couple on the weekend, a couple throughout the day. I know I'm going out for a steak tonight, actually. So my question to you is how many of those meals are you going to make treat meals? I think if you find that you go every single, if you're being social all the time now, you can't just make every meal a treat meal, because then where's the discipline in our lives? We need to be able to nominate and plan out and map out how many of those meals are going to be treat meals. And then on the other side, maybe you'll order a piece of fillet steak with steamed vegetables or salad. And you know what? Your friends might have a laugh, but at least you've been disciplined. And you know that the next day you might be going out for a burger and a pizza, and you'll feel that much better about yourself for being disciplined the night before.
Perfect. Yeah, great points here. And I feel like there's many talks now that we can branch off into from this discussion. So looking forward to the next one. Thanks, Paulie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, guys.